cliffs, broad grasslands, forested mountain ridges, and fog-shrouded valleys.
You have the ocean on one side, and you have Kamala Bay on the other side. It's absolutely wonderful.
Where a restless sea holds secrets in its murky depths.
Its geography meant that a lot of ships were crashing against its shores.
And the land itself sits precariously on the edge.
The San Andreas Fault runs right through Point Reyes National Seashore.
A place where the pace of life flows with the rhythm of the tides and the pattern of the seasons. This is the California coast, as it was and as it will continue to be. Point Reyes National Seashore, part of the U.S. National Park Service, is a land like no other. It is a pristine oasis just a short drive away from the hustle and bustle of downtown San Francisco. It may seem like nothing could trouble this peaceful scene, but there are unimaginable forces beneath the surface. This beautiful land is perched atop one of the world's most violent geological zones, the San Andreas Fault. This is where the North American plate meets the Pacific plate and runs all the way from Mexico to Northern California. Point Reyes sits on the Pacific plate. It's drifted about 350 miles north over the last 30 million years. The 1906 quake still has people talking. When it struck, the land jumped almost 20 feet north and rocked the community to its core. Geologist Tim Paul can only guess when the land will rumble to life again.
The ground will shift probably like it did in 1906. We don't know how long it's going to be until the next earthquake. It may be a few years, it may be a couple of hundred years, but it certainly will occur.
Geology has left its footprint on this land, but so too have human inhabitants. The Coast Miwok Indians have called this area home for more than 6,000 years. The peninsula was an ideal setting. Living in small family encampments along Tamales Bay, the Coast Miwoks lived in harmony with the land. Today, a replica of a Coast Miwok village, Kuli Loklo, stands in Bear Valley. Visitors join in arrowhead shaping, as well as crafting traditional regalia and baskets with Coast Miwok descendants like Joanne Campbell.
We've always inhabited this land, and it's just fortunate this park has been able to preserve some of that heritage for us. It's a beautiful place here.
Today, the Coast Miwok work to keep their story alive, deepening our understanding of our nation's history before European settlement. Sir Francis Drake is believed to be the first of the Europeans to land on Point Reyes in 1579. In 1603, Spanish explorer Sebastian Vizcaino sailed by Point Reyes. He was so overcome by its beauty that he named it La Punta de los Tres Reyes, the point of the three kings. And although many Spanish galleons passed through the area, it wasn't until the 1800s that Spanish missionaries actually settled here. These violent seas have swallowed at least 100 vessels, making the Point Reyes Peninsula a virtual ship graveyard. In an attempt to reduce the danger, the U.S. Lighthouse Service built the Point Reyes Light Station in 1870. Ranger Steve Anastasia protects this timeless treasure.
With the long, straight stretches of beach, the proximity to San Francisco, very abrupt headland out here, all of these things made it such a danger to mariners that having a lighthouse was going to significantly improve their odds of arriving at Point Reyes.
Equipped with a 2-ton Fresnel lens, this lighthouse was a beacon for countless ships. But life on shore was also brutal. Lightkeepers endured savage winter storms, endless fog, 100-mile-per-hour winds, and terrible loneliness. More than one was driven to madness. But as years went by, the seafaring life declined. People began to look inland, where the cool climate and abundant grassland was ideal cattle country. For nearly 150 years, dairy and beef ranches have thrived on Point Reyes. When urban expansion began to threaten this land in the 1950s and 60s, local citizens forged an alliance with conservationists to protect its open grazing land and its precious natural splendor. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed legislation that established Point Reyes as a national seashore. The McClure family has worked the land of Point Reyes for over 100 years.
Without the park, I don't think we'd be farming here. You look at the coast north and south of San Francisco and just built up, and I think if one person would have broke down and sold, it would look very different than it does now.
Today, the Park Service works with the 15 remaining ranches to strike a balance between agriculture and conservation. But in Point Reyes, there is no greater success story than the restoration of its indigenous plant and animal species. Grassland, forest, coast, and sea are now a safe haven for California's incredible wildlife. And that keeps the human visitors coming back time and time again. It's a naturalist nirvana, with rolling grasslands and vast fields of wildflowers. And it's a place where native species of animals are thriving. The reintroduction of the Thule elk is merely one of the many environmental victories. Over 500,000 of them roamed the California landscape until the famed gold rush of 1849, when they were almost hunted to extinction. Wildlife biologist Dr. Natalie Gates monitors their success story along Tamales Point.
They were hunted for their hides and their meat. We think that fewer than a handful, maybe as few as one or two, were all that were left. There are probably 3,700 Thule elk in existence now.
The story of renewal here doesn't stop on shore. Lapping against 80 miles of coastline is an amazing underwater realm, protected by two national marine sanctuaries, Cordell Bank and the Gulf of the Farallones. These coastal waters are some of the richest in the world, thanks to the undersea topography and coastal upwelling. About 35 miles offshore, the continental shelf drops 2 to 3 miles into the abyssal plain. Currents and wind cause the cold, nutrient-rich water to rise near the coast, allowing life to flourish here. Much of the rich diversity remains hidden in the depths, but some of the more colorful and awe-inspiring characters stay close to shore. The king of the pinniped world is the elephant seal. Topping out at 5,000 pounds and 16 feet, elephant seals can reach the size of a Volkswagen. One whole elephant seal's blubber could produce nearly 25 gallons of oil. They were hunted close to extinction in the late 1860s. When the seal oil industry died out, the elephant seal returned to Point Reyes on its own. And in 1981, the first elephant seal pup was born here, the first in 150 years. Dr. Sarah Allen and volunteers tag hundreds of pinniped juveniles at Chimney Rock each spring.
We've been studying elephant seals ever since they were established here. By having tagged individuals, we can find out where they're migrating to, where the colonies are intermingling, and we can also get information on survivorship, which is very important.
Elephant seals have the girth, but the true entertainer of the seal world is the harbor seal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take long to find them in the waters of Point Reyes. Over 6,000 harbor seals, 20% of the entire California harbor seal population, frolic in the rich waters of Point Reyes National Seashore year-round. With their playful and curious personalities, harbor seals never fail to put on a spectacle for visitors. They are especially animated during pupping season in the spring. Their playful behavior, however, attracts a well-known predator. Seals are a favorite prey of the most fearsome creature in the sea, the great white shark. Great whites patrol the Point Reyes coast. Their presence might give pause to boaters and divers, but it is a very positive indicator of a healthy and balanced environment. By monitoring the cold waters of the Gulf of Farallones year-round, scientists are able to conduct valuable research and study the behavior patterns of this carnivorous fish. Known as the ultimate predator, the great white shark is a methodical feeder. They surprise prey near shore from behind or below, take one bite, and then wait. On average, great whites tend to feast twice a week on something as large as a 1,000-pound seal or scavenge a dead whale. Simply put, when they eat a lot.
It was attached straight up in the water, right? And their teeth being serrated. It's just, that's how they have to do it. They have to go back and forth. It's like a steak knife or a bread knife cutting into the flesh of the seal. And they'll just pick them up out of the water like it's nothing. A 600-pound seal. Oh yeah, it's not. It's nothing.
It may seem brutal, but they are part of the balance of life here. Just as awe-inspiring and a lot less scary than the great white shark is the California gray whale. Engaging in one of the longest migrations of any mammal, the California gray whale swims 10,000 miles each year. After spending the winter birthing season in the warm waters off Baja California, the gray whales make the long trek back to Alaskan waters. During spring months, the headlands of Point Reyes offers the perfect vantage point for spotting gray whales and their calves as they make their return trip.
This time of year, apparently they come very close to the shore, so you can see them with your own eyes.
Each year, thousands of visitors flock to the park, armed with binoculars and crossed fingers, all in the hopes of witnessing these graceful giants. Just as life flourishes under the surface, the world above at Point Reyes is no less vibrant. Among its many species of birds is a healthy population of northern spotted owls nesting in the trees near Bear Valley. But most avian species are not as easy to protect. Over 40% of North American bird species have been seen at Point Reyes. They rely on humans for their protection. Jeff Geipel of the Point Reyes Bird Observatory has been mist-netting in Muddy Hollow for years.
But the idea is that the bird actually can't see it. It's very hard to see, so the bird will be flying through the forest, it hits one of these mist nets, can't see, and boom, gets caught in a nice bag.
Observatory biologists and volunteers walk these unique nets every 30 minutes to check for captured birds. Once found, they catalog every single one. In Lake Zestero, hydrologist Brandon Ketchum oversees one of the longest-running restoration projects at Point Reyes, the reintroduction of coho salmon and steelhead trout.
So we've been doing monitoring and restoration activities for coho salmon and steelhead since '96. It's really about education and outreach. The more we've been doing monitoring and restoration, the more people learn about it.
The success stories are many, but there are always more studies to be conducted and more hands-on work to be done. It's no wonder that top scientists, researchers, and volunteers alike are drawn to this place and the possibilities it offers. As the Point Reyes Lighthouse once guided ships through treacherous waters, the park provides a beacon to guide our hand in conservation. Native land mammals account for about 37 species here, and marine mammals add another dozen. But Point Reyes is also ripe for learning about the diversity of life. Over 2,000 species have been found in Tomales Bay, thanks to an army of volunteers.
All right.
Each species is part of the intricate web of life, highlighting the interdependence and the precarious balance that ensures survival of all species. The opportunities for education are endless. People don't just visit Point Reyes, they experience it, and they get involved.
Point Reyes National Seashore is an open area that hasn't been developed and is here for us to enjoy.
Its ever-changing moods and ever-unfolding cycles of life draw visitors back again and again. The story of Point Reyes is a story of human stewardship and renewal. A wild and thriving ecosystem reborn as a national park. Now a place to watch the natural cycle of life coming full circle each year. This, in turn, has the power to rejuvenate our spirit and renew our faith in nature's ability to heal itself. With such an abundance of wealth, Point Reyes truly is a place of magic.